we've had a gap, but we are back. It's the big sports debate on Sportstuck with me, Radhika, and Rahul. And today I want to know from all of you and from Rahul, are you suddenly really excited about Test cricket because of the Ashes? Now, there are a few innovations, of course. There's the World Test Championship. Everybody's talking about the fact that it's not just a one-off test or a one-off series. You have points, and at the end of 2 years, there's going to be that big final at Lord's. But Rahul, the way the cricket is being played, especially if you look at that match yesterday, Ben Stokes winning it for England once again. And I was just watching this video about England football fans who are very particular about football, who don't really give a hoots about any other sport. They, at a Premier League match yesterday, were sitting and watching television where Ben Stokes was winning it for England. So has that changed cricket? Has that revived interest in Test cricket? Are you sitting and watching a Ben Stokes win as opposed to, say, I don't know, an Antigua Test where India would win?
Absolutely. You mentioned about the Tottenham Spurs. In fact, the rugby team was also celebrating when the England team won the Cricket World Cup final at Lord's just a couple of months ago. But yes, Ashes, I believe, has always attracted eyeballs, and this was no different. And if you get a match like this, this is perhaps once in a decade sort of a match, and eventually the team that was not considered as the favorite, you were 280, 286 down for, in fact you were 9 down for 286 odd runs, and suddenly a player like Ben Stokes arrives and he pulls off a miraculous victory. But yes,
so Ben Stokes for you?
Knighthood, you never know. By the time he's into the twilight of his career, you never know. I think Sir Geoffrey Boycott, Sir Ian Botham,
Sir Alistair Cook very recently
are the only three English cricketers.
There are others also
with knighthood.
Sir
Botham, Boycott.
I think there are a few more, but
no, before them, are you talking about living?
Yeah.
Graham Gooch?
Graham Gooch.
Is he?
No, I don't think so.
David
no.
Carr?
No. So anyways, but yes, so see, for me, I think Ashes, has always attracted viewership, and if you ask me, today New Zealand won a very good match against Sri Lanka in Sri Lanka. Yesterday, India just blew away West Indies. But Ashes, I still believe, is what the rivalries like these, Australia versus England. These are the kind of rivalries that will keep Test cricket alive. If you see the crowd, there were so many thousands of people still in the ground watching
cheering.
Exactly.
So it was, of course, the atmosphere was spectacular. We saw the kind of jubilation there was in the crowd when Ben Stokes hit that final boundary to win it for England. But are you saying that it is the Ashes that is drawing the crowds? It is the Ashes that is interesting you in Test cricket, and not the fact that there is the World Test Championship? You mentioned that New Zealand game. Now, almost 2 days of that game was washed out. But here comes New Zealand after having lost the first Test match to win it. Tim Southee, of course, gets 250 Test wickets, if I'm not wrong, in that Test match. What I'm asking you, is it not the fact that teams now are going for that win? It's not about a draw. It's about the way Test cricket is played, or is it about the opposition, like you said? Is it about the rivalry? Probably when India plays Australia or in England, there is more excitement as opposed to in India playing West Indies.
And also, Radhika, it depends where you are playing. If you go to Australia, countries like Australia, if you go to England, more often than not, you will get good crowd. You will get people who appreciate Test cricket. You can. There was a time when India and Pakistan used to enjoy a very fierce rivalry. But now that we don't travel neither India travels to Pakistan nor they travel to India. But even India-Australia rivalry has probably
everybody does say that's the new big India-Pakistan rivalry.
Absolutely, has taken over from India-Pakistan. But if you invite Australia travel to India, do you think you'll get the same kind of crowd? I don't think. Even in India, people are too appreciative of Test cricket. I don't see a house full during Test cricket in India.
So your World Test Championship or whatever innovations the ICC done, you've suddenly got numbers and names on the back. The ICC is trying, I think, on their part. They've of course got night Test matches also, which was a new innovation, trying to get more crowds. is that working for you, or do you feel it is still the same bunch of people who are watching Test cricket? Maybe a few get excited because of reading headlines and everybody talking about Ben Stokes. Some may tune into an Ashes, but otherwise these innovations really aren't getting the crowds back towards Test cricket.
I think it is how you sell your product. That is what matters, and ICC is trying its best to sell Test cricket. It's an evolution. I honestly believe, these numbers on your back, the point system.
Yeah.
But yes, it is cricket. Ultimately, how you play, where you play, and the kind of spirit and results. Games like these definitely will attract newer audience. You will have new people joining the brigade. You'll have more people coming and watching Test cricket. Tomorrow, if England travel to India, people definitely would want to see Ben Stokes in flesh and blood.
Absolutely. I think that's the last part of India's tour schedule for those 2 years. But you're saying something that sort of Ganguly also tweeted a while back, saying that looking at the standard that the Ashes had set, of course, Ben Stokes in this match in Headingley, before that there was Steve Smith with those hundreds, almost single-handedly winning it for Australia. So the standard that basically has been set at the Ashes, you feel that other teams need to buckle up and do it. Do you feel that New Zealand did that after losing the Galle Test? Sri Lanka were quite convincing, and after losing almost 2 days play in Colombo, they did come back in away conditions to win. Do you feel, even though they may not have drawn that sort of crowd, they did show that they are as competitive as any other team?
Well, ideally I thought they should have won the first test also, but unfortunately that did not happen. And at least there's one thing. A couple of years ago, every former cricketer, or maybe even we used to think that the host nation, the country that is hosting a test series or a test match, is usually favourite, and the results also were similar to what we used to think. But now if you see a team like Australia, somebody like Steve Smith comes there, scores 2 back-to-back hundreds in his first match after that suspension got over. India traveled to West Indies. Mind you, we are saying that West Indies were just pushover or are pushovers, but you also have to remember that this is the very same West Indies team which defeated England when England travelled to West Indies, and they also went to West Indies, and the West Indies team also travelled to England, and they beat them there also. It was just a one test, but still, considering what West Indies cricket has been going through, that was a very good result. And secondly, New Zealand now travels to Sri Lanka. They should have won the first test.
Yeah.
Of course, they lost that, but then they came back to win the second test. Now, these are the kind of results, and an innings like what Ben Stokes played. These are the results or things that would actually spice up the Test cricket.
Absolutely. So what we've really figured out now is that the game is getting excited. Teams are going for that win. Like Virat Kohli said, that the mindsets have changed also because of this World Test Championship. They're not just looking at winning the series. They're looking at every Test match in a series, even if the series has been decided, because each Test match has those points. For the viewers, of course, it becomes exciting because the teams are never looking for that draw. They are looking for the win, and we have seen some spectacular Test cricket in the last few weeks, led by the Ashes, led by Steve Smith, and then Ben Stokes. And we do hope this continues, because the excitement of red ball cricket seems to have at least become a talking point recently. With that, it's goodbye from me, Radhika and Rahul, but we will be back tomorrow with the big sports debate.